All right. Looks like 21. Then it was that I, swayed by this option, remarked in a little treatise which got abroad and into people's hands without my knowledge and against my will, that I had known many good speakers, but never yet any one that was truly eloquent. For I accounted him a good speaker who could express his thoughts with accuracy and perspicuity according to the ordinary judgment of mankind before an audience of moderate capacity, but I considered him alone eloquent, who could in a more admirable and noble manner amplify and adorn whatever subjects he chose, and who embraced in thought and memory all the principles of everything related to oratory. This, though it may be difficult to us, who, before we begin to speak in public, are overwhelmed by canvassings for office and by the business of the forum, is yet within the range of possibility and the powers of nature. For I, as far as I can divine by conjecture, and as far as I can estimate the abilities of our countrymen, do not despair that there may arise at some time or other a person who, when with a keener devotion to study than we feel or have ever felt, with more leisure, with better and more mature talent for learning, and with superior labor and industry, he shall have given himself up to the hearing, reading, and writing, may become such an orator as we desire to see, one who may justly be called not only a good speaker, but truly eloquent. And such a character, in my opinion, is our friend Crassus, or someone, if such ever was, an equal genius, who, having heard, read, and written more than Crassus, shall be able to make some little addition to it. Here Scrupulous Sculpicius observed, "That has happened by accident, Crassus, which neither Cotta nor I expected, but which we both earnestly desired. I mean, that you should insensibly glide into a discourse of this kind. For, as we were coming hither, we thought it would be a pleasure, if, while you were taking on other matters, we might gather something worthy to be remembered from your conversation. But that you should go into a deep and full discussion on this very study or art or faculty and penetrate into the heart of it was what we could scarcely venture to hope. For I, who from my early youth have felt a strong affection for you both, and even a love for Crassus, having never left his company, could never yet elicit a word from him on the method and art of speaking, though I not only solicited him myself, but endeavored to move him by the agency of Drusius, on which subject you, Antonius, I speak but the truth, never failed to answer my requests and interrogatories, and have very often told me what you used to notice in speaking. And since each of you has opened a way to these subjects of our research, and since Crassus was the first to commence this discourse, do us the favor to acquaint us fully and exactly what you think about the various kinds of eloquence. If we obtain this indulgence from you, I shall feel the greatest obligation to this school of yours, Crassus, and to your Tusculan villa, and shall prefer your suburban place of study to the famous academy and lyceum. 22. Nay, rather, Sculpius, rejoined Crassus, let us ask Antonius, who is both capable of doing what you desire, and, as I hear you say, has been accustomed to do so. As to myself, I acknowledge that I have ever avoided all such kind of discourse, and have often declined to comply with your requests and solicitations, as you just now observed. This I did not from pride or want of politeness, nor because I was unwilling to aid your just and commendable aspirations, especially as I knew you to be eminently and above others formed and qualified by nature to become a speaker, but in truth from being unaccustomed to such kind of discussions, and from being ignorant of those principles which are laid down as institutes of the art. Then, said Cotta, since we have got over what we thought the greatest difficulty to induce you, Crassus, to speak at all upon these subjects, for the rest, it will be our own fault if we let you go before you have explained all that we have to ask. I believe I must answer, says Crassus, as is usually written in the formula for entering on inheritances concerning such points as I know and shall be able. And which of us, rejoined Cotta, can be so presuming as to desire to know or to be able to do anything that you do not know or cannot do? Well, then, returned Crassus, on condition that I may say that I cannot do what I cannot do, and that I may own that I do not know what I do not know, you may put questions to me at your pleasure. We shall then first ask of you, said Scopius, what you think of what Antonius has advanced, whether you think there is any art in speaking. What, exclaimed Crassus, do you put a trifling question to me, as to some idle and talkative, though perhaps studious and learned Greek, on which I may speak according to my humor? When do you imagine that I have ever regarded or thought upon such matters, or have not always rather ridiculed the impudence of those men who, seated in the schools, would demand if any one in a numerous assembly of persons wished to ask any question and desire him to speak? This Gorgias the Leontine is said to have first done, who was thought to undertake and promise something vast in pronouncing himself prepared to speak on all subjects on which anyone should be inclined to hear him. But afterward those men made it a common practice and continue to this day, so that there is no topic of such importance, or so unexpected, or so new, on which they do not profess that they will say all that can be said. But if I had thought that you, Cotta, or you, Sulpicius, were desirous to hear such matters, I would have brought hither some Greek to amuse you with their manner of disputation. For there is with M. Piso a youth already addicted to this intellectual exercise, and one of superior talents and of great affection for me, the peripatetic Stasius, a man with whom I am well acquainted, and who, as I perceive, is agreed among the learned, is of the first eminence of his profession.